Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something a lot of men experience, but maybe don't talk about much,
Hmm.
especially men over 60. It's that feeling, when night comes, something's different. Maybe restless nights, feeling sluggish in the morning, intimacy not quite the same. That quiet thought, am I half the man I used to be?
Hmm.
But here's the thought. What if the answer isn't another pill, not some complex procedure, but, well, a fruit? Something simple you've probably seen countless times that could actually help bring back deeper sleep, more energy, maybe even improve intimacy.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at the science, and we're drawing heavily on insights from Dr. Moitkara. He's a physician, a professor in men's health with, over 30 years focused right on these issues. We want to explore why this happens and show that it's not just getting old. There are natural strategies, real science behind them that can make a difference when maybe other things haven't. And this isn't just about, the physical side. It really connects to your overall health, how confident you feel day to day, how you feel as a man.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Why night? Why does the weight of age seem to hit hardest then? You don't often hear men complaining about the afternoon slump in the same way, but evenings. The body feels heavier, the mind won't quiet down, energy just drains. Nights are supposed to be for rest, for connection, but they become the struggle. What's happening biologically, based on Dr. Carr's work?
It's fascinating, really. It's like a convergence of natural changes that peak during the night. First, testosterone, key for strength, stamina, drive, is naturally lower in the evening anyway, and production decreases as we age.
Okay.
Second, melatonin, that's our sleep hormone, right? Its flow just isn't as robust after 60, making it harder to get to sleep and stay asleep.
Hmm.
And then there's nitric oxide, crucial stuff. It relaxes blood vessels for good circulation everywhere, including, importantly, for erections. And guess when it's naturally at its lowest? After years of slow decline. At night.
So the night really highlights all these vulnerabilities.
Exactly. It puts them under a magnifying glass.
Yeah, and Dr. Carr talks about how deeply this affects men. He shared this story about a 72-year-old patient. The man dreaded nighttime, not because of bad dreams, but the shame, the feeling he couldn't respond to his wife, even though he loved her deeply. And that's not just one person's story, is it? It's a silent reality for so many men who think, well, this is just how it is now.
Right. And that's the misconception we need to challenge, that it's just old age. Often what you're feeling at night, the fatigue, the restlessness, that fading spark, these are signals. There are often consequences of, missing nutrients, rhythms being off, solutions that have been overlooked. The irony is, those hours that feel draining could actually become your body's prime time for repair if it gets what it needs. And the missing piece, it's often not complicated at all. It's something natural.
Because for years, the main story has been medication, right? Pills for sleep, pills for energy, pills for intimacy. And look, they have their place, but many men find they're temporary fixes. They don't solve the underlying issue. Plus, the side effects: grogginess, mood changes, racing heart, anxiety. It's understandable why men are looking for something, well, more natural, more sustainable, something that helps them feel like themselves again.
Absolutely. And what Dr. Carr's research consistently shows is this really interesting pattern. The men who genuinely thrived, who got that vitality back, they weren't necessarily the ones on the strongest drugs. Often they were the ones who embraced simpler, natural approaches. And there's this one particular fruit, very common, often just sitting there in the supermarket, that contains the exact building blocks many men over 60 are, frankly, starving for. No complex rituals, just a simple fruit used correctly.
I remember that story Dr. Carr told about the retired veteran, totally fed up with meds and side effects. He just asked, isn't there anything natural? So Dr. Carr suggested this night fruit. The veteran was skeptical, of fruit, really. But he tried it. Weeks later, more energy, sleeping better, and his wife definitely noticed the difference in their intimacy. It just shows we often miss the obvious, don't we?
We really do. There's this tendency to seek out complex, high-tech answers, thinking the solution must be complicated. But very often, the key missing piece is something incredibly simple, something nature provides, a fruit that essentially acts like medicine, working with your body's natural processes instead of just overriding them.
So let's get into those changes after 60 more deeply. You mentioned testosterone, melatonin, nitric oxide kind of fading. Can you explain that process a bit more? How does that happen?
Sure, it's a gradual thing, not like flipping a switch. But your body just becomes less efficient at making and holding on to these key compounds over time. Testosterone, vital for muscle, mood, drive,
Right.
it naturally declines. Melatonin production slows down, which messes with your sleep cycles. That's why sleep gets harder.
Right.
And the ability to produce nitric oxide, which keeps arteries flexible and blood flowing well, that steadily drops too. It happens slowly over years, but eventually the impact really adds up, especially when those levels hit their lowest point at night.
It's like you said, not broken, just missing some key ingredients.
Yeah.
Like trying to start a fire with damp wood, maybe.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Huh.
The potential is there, but it needs the right fuel, the right conditions.
And the symptoms, they sneak up on you, don't they? It's not
Exactly. It's insidious. You might just dismiss it. Oh, I'm stressed, or I guess I'm just getting older. Restless night here, less energy there. Maybe erections aren't quite as firm. You ignore it. But then the pattern locks in. You're wide awake at 2 a.m., you're dragging all day, intimacy feels like a memory. Dr. Kara had one patient put it so bleakly, "Doctor, I feel like I'm fading."
Wow.
But these aren't death sentences, they're signals. Your body is telling you what it needs. Restless sleep is asking for melatonin support. Weaker erections are crying out for nitric oxide. Low energy needs that testosterone fuel. And incredibly, there's a natural source that can help address all of these.
Okay, the moment we've been building up to. What is this fruit? It's not some rare berry from a remote jungle, is it?
Not at all. It's something you definitely know. We're talking about tart cherries.
Tart cherries, like
No.
the sour ones.
Exactly. Not the big, sweet Bing cherries you might snack on, but the smaller, cannier Montmorency type, often found frozen or juiced. These little things are nutritional powerhouses, especially for men over 60.
Okay, so why tart cherries specifically? What's the science?
It's pretty compelling. 3 key things. First, they are loaded with anthocyanins. These are potent antioxidants that help keep your blood vessels flexible and healthy. That's huge for blood flow everywhere: erections, energy, heart, brain.
Okay, blood flow. Makes sense.
Second, they contain a natural source of melatonin, not a synthetic version, but the real deal. This directly helps combat that age-related drop in your own melatonin, leading to easier, deeper sleep. Real restorative sleep.
Wow, actual melatonin in a fruit.
Yep. And third, something less talked about. They help protect your testosterone. They fight inflammation and oxidative stress, these silent attackers that gradually undermine male vitality as we age. So they're protective.
That story you mentioned earlier, the guy in his late 60s who laughed at the idea. Those little red things I spat the bits out of as a kid.
Yeah, that one. Total skeptic.
But then a month later,
Yeah.
calmer nights, better sleep, and his wife noticed a real difference. He felt his confidence come back, that feeling that, okay, maybe it's not all gone.
That's it exactly. It's not just about the physical mechanics. It's about feeling capable again. Tart cherries, when used right, provide really targeted support for the core issues: erections, energy, sleep, all naturally, all in one package.
Okay, used right is the key phrase there. So how do you actually use them effectively? What's the best way?
It's pretty simple, actually. The best approach is usually a small bowl of tart cherries in the evening, say about an hour before you plan to go to bed. Fresh are great if they're in season, but frozen tart cherries work just as well nutritionally, and they're available year-round.
Frozen is convenient. What about juice?
Juice is a good option too, but, and this is really important, it must be pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice.
Ah, the sugar trap. That's crucial, isn't it? Because grabbing any old cherry juice off the shelf could backfire.
Massively. Added sugar is the enemy here. It spikes your blood sugar, causes inflammation, disrupts sleep. It basically cancels out the benefits you're trying to get.
Right.
So you've got to read the label. Pure tart cherry juice. Unsweetened. Preferably organic if you can find it. Otherwise, you're kind of working against yourself.
Okay, unsweetened.
Yeah.
Got it. And how often? Is it like a one-time boost?
No, definitely not. Consistency is everything with natural approaches. You won't eat one bowl and wake up feeling 20 years younger. Think of it more like watering a plant, like you said. It needs regular nourishment. Day after day, or rather night after night, those anthocyanins support your blood vessels. The natural melatonin helps regulate sleep. The anti-inflammatory compounds do their work. It's that consistent, gentle rebuilding of those pathways that brings the results.
So what can someone realistically expect if they start tonight? How long until they notice things changing? What's the timeline look like typically?
Based on Dr. Carr's work and what we often see, there's a fairly typical progression. Usually within the first week, the most noticeable change is sleep. It might be easier to fall asleep, or you might just sleep more deeply, wake up feeling a bit more rested.
Okay, even a little better sleep feels huge.
It really does. Then, moving into the second and third weeks, that's often when energy levels start to pick up during the day. And significantly, men often report erections starting to return. Maybe morning erections first, or just unexpected improvements. That's a big confidence booster.
I bet.
By the fourth week and beyond, if you've been consistent, the effects tend to be much more pronounced. Firmer, more reliable erections, sustained energy, consistently better sleep, maybe even fewer aches and pains, a brighter mood, a sense of vitality returning. People often use phrases like feeling decades younger at this point.
That sounds incredible, but the key is sticking with it.
Absolutely. It requires patience and consistency. Tart cherries are powerful, but they're supporting your body's natural processes, not overriding them like a drug. It takes time.
Are there common mistakes people make besides the sugar thing that stop them from getting results?
Yes, definitely. We see three main ones pretty often. First, as we hammered home, choosing the wrong form. Sugary juice is poison in disguise here. Stick to unsweetened or whole fruit. Second is inconsistency. Just having it now and then like a random snack won't cut it. It needs to be a regular ritual, ideally daily, especially in the beginning. Your body needs that rhythm.
Right. Makes sense.
And the third, which is understandable but unhelpful, is impatience. Expecting an overnight miracle. Dr. Carr told that story about the man in his early 70s, ready to give up after week 1 because nothing dramatic happened.
Yeah.
He was encouraged to stick with it, and by week 4, deeper sleep, erections back. He apparently said, "Doctor, I almost gave up on myself. I'm glad I didn't." It takes persistence.
That's powerful. Trust the process. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier about synergy.
Yeah.
Is there a way to potentially boost the effects of the tart cherries, make them work even better?
Yes, absolutely. While tart cherries are fantastic on their own, you can definitely amplify the benefits by ensuring your body also has enough of other key foundational nutrients. Think of tart cherries as the spark plug, maybe?
Yeah.
These other nutrients are like the high-quality fuel and oil the engine needs to run optimally.
Okay, so what are these key nutrients?
We're talking about things like zinc. It's absolutely vital for healthy testosterone production. Many men are low in it. Then magnesium, often called nature's relaxation mineral. It helps calm the nervous system, supports deep sleep, works beautifully with the melatonin from the cherries.
Magnesium, yeah.
L-arginine is another big one. It's an amino acid that your body uses to create nitric oxide, so it directly helps open up those blood vessels for better flow and firmer erections. And finally, omega-3 fatty acids, essential for reducing inflammation throughout the body, protecting your heart, protecting your brain, creating that healthy internal environment.
So it's like a team effort. Tart cherries lead the charge,
Yeah.
but these others provide crucial backup.
Exactly. It's synergy. They work together. That man who felt 10 years younger, he described it as having a team of allies inside him. Each nutrient plays its part, and together they create a much more powerful effect than any one thing could alone. More profound, more lasting results.
Which brings us back to the core of this, really. Beyond the nutrients, beyond the biology. What does this all mean? Because it's not just about sleep or erections, is it? It cuts deeper. That feeling some men have, I don't feel like myself, like a man anymore. That weighs heavy.
It's often the heaviest burden of all. And that's why this approach resonates so deeply. Dr. Carr shared a really moving story about a man in his late 70s, married over 50 years. He felt so much shame, avoiding intimacy because he felt he'd fail. But starting with simple things, like the tart cherries, consistency, his confidence slowly returned. He told Dr. Carr he could finally look her in the eyes again, not as a patient or an old man, but as her husband.
Wow, that says it all.
It's about restoring dignity, restoring that connection, that sense of self-worth.
Yeah. Reclaiming connection, strength, vitality. Your partner wants you, the man she loves, confident and present. And just as importantly, you deserve to feel that way again. For yourself.
Absolutely. Age doesn't have to dictate your vitality. Your number of years doesn't automatically switch off your passion or strength. What defines you is choosing to stay engaged, choosing to nourish your body wisely, believing there's more life to live. Transformation really is possible at any age. It just requires a smarter approach to self-care.
So let's recap this deep dive. We've looked at why nights can become tougher after 60, pinpointing the decline in key players like testosterone, melatonin, and nitric oxide. We talked about how those silent symptoms creep in, eroding energy and confidence. And we revealed a surprising, natural solution: tart cherries. We covered how to use them correctly unsweetened, consistently, what to expect week by week, the pitfalls to avoid, and how combining them with nutrients like zinc, magnesium, L-arginine, and omega-3s can amplify the results.
And most importantly, we connected it all back to the emotional heart of the matter. Why this matters for your dignity, your connection, your sense of self as a man. Remember, age isn't a sentence. It just asks for a wiser way to care for your body. Making a simple choice tonight, like adding tart cherries to your routine, could genuinely be the start of something new. A chapter with deeper sleep, renewed energy, maybe the return of passion. It seems small, that choice, but it holds the potential to restore more than just physical health. It can restore hope.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. If this information resonated with you, if you found it valuable, please do give this episode a like. Share it with other men in your life who might benefit from hearing this. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future insights and tips designed specifically for men over 60.